Hello everybody, welcome back to Life Stories. My name is Trent and I hope you guys are all doing well. Today we got more stories coming at you from Reddit/idontworkherelady, so buckle in, because we're getting started now. Our story today is titled, "This is more of an idontgohere story where a high school teacher thought I was part of her class, even though I obviously was in college." Well, it's not really a title, it's more of a sentence, but okay. Being a trans man, I typically look younger than I am, especially in the eyes of the older generation. I'm sure my fellow trans people can relate. Quite often, people think I'm a good few years younger despite me being 5'9" and of average build. And yes, I know that's not that tall, but I still find it odd how often people think I'm in middle or high school. Anyways, time to set the scene. I've been out of high school for a year now, and attend college off and on when I can afford it. This story takes place during winter, so I should note that being Canadian at heart, I'm actually warm wearing a t-shirt and shorts in 19-degree weather. I just don't get cold. Moving on. After I had finished the semester at my college, I moved back into my parents' house so I could save up enough to get a place of my own. I ended up moving back out after a month and a half. Close to my parents' house is the high school I attended, which has an amazing track that I love running, and is only closed to the public during games. Since school was still in session when I arrived, I parked across the street in order to not complicate things, and noticed the track was empty, except for 3 adults jogging peacefully. So I entered the area dressed in shorts, sneakers, and a thin polo shirt. Before you ask, yes, this is important. My shorts and shirt both have my college's logo on them, and it's fairly obvious. To give you an idea, both the shirt and shorts are a dark solid color, and the logo is a somewhat large mascot outlined in the same areas, filled with a bright color. This is important because even though I may look young, I'm still wearing college attire and not part of a sophomore class. Back to the story. I put my earphones in and started running with music blasting in my ears. Fast forward about 10 minutes, and one of the adults had left, and soon after, a class came walking down and entered the track. I didn't recognize any of the students, but assumed they were sophomores. The teacher, however, I recognized, but I never had her as a teacher, nor did any of my high school friends. I just turned the volume up on my music and continued running, as they stretched in preparation for the mile. I kept to one line in order to stay out of their way as I leisurely jogged. I was running to just run, with no intention to push myself, but I couldn't help myself in challenging some of the wannabe jocks. At one point, I stopped by the bleachers, where I'd placed my water bottle for a water break, and to catch my breath. It was then where I felt someone watching me. When I turned slightly, I saw the teacher and gave a polite smile before I continued to drink, but then she started making her way towards me. Not really wanting to talk to anyone, I pretended I didn't see her coming and set my bottle down before running again. I felt slightly bad about it at the moment, but I wasn't in the mood to converse or take my earbuds out. When I came back around the track, she was still staring at me, but this time she didn't look pleased. "Whatever, lady, I'll be gone soon anyway," I thought to myself, and continued running, figuring her problem was the fact that another guy and I were on the track with her students. Nope. I noticed that quite a few of her students had finished their mile and were waiting on some of the slower ones to finish. Remember when I mentioned earlier that I was entertaining some of the wannabe jocks by racing them? Well, this one student who was finished with the mile jogged up next to me and asked if I wanted to race. I agreed, and to this day, I don't regret it. We turned around and went to the starting line that was painted on the track. He counted us off, and we both took off in our one-lap race. I ended up winning, but I gave him credit though. I was taller and a tad longer, with stronger legs. Now, on to the juicy part of the story you've been waiting for. Once we finished our race, we high-fived and started talking what teenage boys do. School, relationships, video games, etc. Then, the teacher walked over. For the story, this is how I'll label the conversation. Me equals me. Miss B equals the teacher who I was calling a B expletive in my mind. Ben, the student who raced me, this was not his real name, and Emily, Ben's friend who was watching us and stepped in. This is also not her real name. Miss B said, "I hope you know I'm giving you a 0 for today." She had this snobby tone and attitude and looked me up and down. "I'm sorry, what?" I said. She rolled her eyes. I'm giving you a 0 in participation today, and I'm also writing you up for disturbing and distracting the others. You know the rules of my class. You do too. She addressed Ben, then me. What's your name? Ben and I looked at each other, confused. My name is Delirious, but I'm not quite sure I understand. I stayed in one lane, and there are others. She cut me off. You know the rules. I went over them at the beginning of the semester, and once more before coming out to the track. I looked at her like she grew 2 heads. If I was wearing something other than my college attire, I could understand if she mistook me for her student, seeing how it was the beginning of the semester for this high school, but I wasn't. I was wearing my college's logo, and even though this class didn't have a firm dress code, I was still dressed differently than the rest. Ben caught on. Miss B, he isn't in our class. Don't cover for him or I'll write you up as well. She turned to me again. I tried to give you a warning earlier, but you ran off and then you didn't report back to me after you lazily ran your mile only to have a race and disturbed the others still running. Once we get back to class, I'm sending you to talk to the principal. Now, I know the principal and was on good terms with her when I was a senior, and briefly thought about playing along to see how things went, but decided against it because I didn't want to risk Ben getting in trouble. I'm sorry, Miss B, is it? I'm not in your class. I don't even go to this school. I'm in college. I tug at my polo slightly to draw more attention to my college's logo and name. Miss B scoffed. Oh, I'm not as stupid as you think I am. We just had a college fair recently where you got those clothes from. You're just trying to get out of school early. Being a good student, I rarely get in trouble, so to get reprimanded for no reason at all startled me. Cue Emily. Miss B, there are only 23 students in our class and everyone's here. Then he transferred in and isn't on the roll yet, or he's sloughing class. She turned back to me. Come with me, young man. I don't want you running off. If you're not my student, I'll find out whose you are. He was here before we even got to the track, Emily said. Then he's sloughing. Enough. Ben, head back to class with the others. Emily, you finish writing down the times of the students who are finishing. I'm taking you, she says to me, to Principal Blank. I was starting to get annoyed and just wanted to get something to eat before heading home to laugh about what just happened. Look, I'm not in your class or anyone else's for that matter. I'm in college and came here to run for a bit. So if you'll excuse me, I'm going to head out now. Before I could turn to grab my stuff and leave, the teacher actually grabbed my arm in a tight grip, preventing me from leaving. Somewhat startled, I jerked and tried to yank out of her grasp. I'm not letting you leave and slough class. I'm calling your parents. I'm almost 19, I say. Everyone in your class is most likely in their 15s. I'm in college. Let go of me. I literally have no class to skip out of. Emily and Ben both haven't left, but were keeping their distance in order to not anger the teacher more. Furious that she had grabbed and was still holding on tight, I pried her hand off my arm and quickly put distance between us. Miss B, gasping, Delirious, get back here right now. No, I am not in high school. I graduated a year ago. I do not have to listen to or do as you say. I jogged past her and thanked Emily and Ben for standing up for me before grabbing my things and quickly darting out of there. It was a good distance to where I parked, so I kept glancing behind me as I jogged. She had found one of the school officers and was talking to him. Uh-oh. I don't think I ever sprinted to my car so fast before. I think the officer just shrugged it off, or Emily and Ben talked to him, because I could see him walk away and head in the opposite direction. I haven't gone back to the high school since moving out of my parents' house, and I don't think I ever will. I'd rather not risk seeing Miss B again when there are perfectly good tracks closer to my new home. And we got some updates for context. By 19 degrees, I meant Fahrenheit, and I wear shorts all winter long. I had my college ID in my wallet. A lot of schools do not have their track open to the public unless it's during certain hours. But some high schools, like the one I went to, do. Some adults who use the track tend to leave when a class arrives. Hey, it's pretty cool that the school lets you use their track. I know if the one near me did, I'd be in a lot better shape than I'm in right now. And even though that one was long, we do have time for one more. And it's titled, It Happened Again. It's short. So once again, I ventured out of my hobbit hole to go on an adventure to the store of groceries. I wasn't feeling well, morning nausea, thank you Mother Nature, and left in street clothes and fuzzy house shoes. Not my standard outside wear, but I didn't give a crap. I just wanted to hurry and go back home. I got what I could and waited in line. Now, I have a super bad habit of locking my keys in my car, so I keep them on my neck on a My Neighbor Totoro lanyard. It's cute. Hey, I love Totoro. I believe this sparked the "excuse me." I swear I nearly launched my eyeballs out of my skull with how hard I rolled them. Normally, I'm nicer, but again, I'm sick and I want to go home. The lady says, "This self-scanner doesn't work." I say nothing. The lady also says nothing. "And?" I say. "Well, get over here and fix it," she says. I hope my face conveyed the words going through my head. Oh, honey, take the attitude and shove it where the sun don't shine. I didn't get a chance to answer back as my turn was next, but seriously, other than the lanyard, which just has a small set of keys on it, there's nothing about me that says apocalyptic essential worker. Fuzzy slippers, flower print leggings, and this t-shirt, and they post a link to their shirt. Where do these people come from? You gotta wonder how much they leave their homes even before COVID-19 hit. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, that is all the time we have for today. I want to thank you guys so much for tuning in to another episode of Life Stories. Hope you guys are doing safe and staying clean and keeping your distance from people. Very important, so you guys don't get sick. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more content we got coming your way. My name is Trent, and I hope to see you guys soon.